So, it's the FA Cup first round, and it lands yet again with the FA Cup first round of predictions, and it starts right now. Hi again, it's me. Today, we're doing my FA Cup round 1 predictions for the 25-26 season. Who is hyped for the first round of the FA Cup to kick off? And you have a lot of good today, like ourselves at least. It's a 6 or 7 likes today, if you that'd be nice. And make sure you subscribe out there as we try to get ourselves up to 200 subs by the end of November, if you get over and doing 2 things gold. But you have no messing about on Halloween night. Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. And they gave us Luton versus Forest Green at Kenworth Road for the Halloween night at 7:30 kickoff. Who is hyped for this one? Who would have thought Luton Town, they were facing of Arsenal and Man City and Man United Liverpool all going down to Kenworth Road 2 years ago. Now, we're having Forest Green Rovers, Mansfield, Barnet, Brighton under 21s, all out going down to Kenworth Road. Doesn't time fly? But you got to give credit to one youngster for Luton that scored, as he ended up being the youngest goal scorer in the Luton Town senior team. What a player he is. Give credit to him. You have to give credit to him. And Forest Green, they are 5th place in the National League. But I think it's going to be too much for Forest Green for now. It wasn't that long ago, Forest Green Rovers were a League 1 club, and they once faced off each other in League 2 almost a decade ago. But I really think it's going to be too much for Forest Green. But I think Forest Green will pull off a good fight against Luton. I think a 3-2 win to Luton for this one, but Forest Green will pull off a good fight. Then to the Essex Derby now in the 12 o'clock kickoff on Saturday. Chelmsford will take on Braintree now. Whoo! One is in the National League, in the relegation zone, struggling, and one is in the National League South, in the middle, just chilling. But they won 1-0 against Dover in the weekend, so yeah, happy nights for Chelmsford. But yeah, but it's gonna be a good game to watch, really. Yeah, but it's gonna be quite a tight game to watch. It's gonna be very tight. I think a 1-1 draw at the end of the 90. Then I really think Braintree will win in extra time. I think a 2-1 win to Braintree at extra time. And then to the 3 o'clock kickoffs now on Saturday, at the same time as the Fortnite Sims live event is on. Barnsley taking on York now. It's the Yorkshire Derby. Who is hype? Isn't that a lot of Yorks? We have York in the Yorkshire Derby facing off, going to Oakwell in the Yorkshire Derby. That's quite a lot of Yorks, I would say. But yeah, can York beat Barnsley in the Yorkshire Derby? Couldn't they pull off an upset here at Oakwell? And Barnsley, no, I think the stadium will be packed. Blooming packed. 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 And I think it's gonna be a good game to watch, really. York in something from the National League. Barnsley is 11th, but it's gonna be a good game to watch, really. I think we're gonna see the first upset. It's happening here. A 2-1 win to York in this Yorkshire Derby. Then the Blackpool taking Scunthorpe now. Woo! Blackpool have got the former Bolton manager that has been there for 5 years. Imagine this manager, Ian. Imagine Ian stays at Blackpool for 5 years. Imagine it happens again. Imagine history repeats itself. But who knows, really? And for Scunthorpe are really dark horse in the National League, 2nd place, 1 point off Rochdale in the National League, top of the table. Can Scunthorpe be in the EFL next season? We could be talking about them in at least 10 or 9 months' time. Who knows, really? Who blooming knows? But this could be a good game to watch, really. Scunthorpe will pull off a very good fight. I think Scunthorpe's going to drag it to penalties. It'll be 1-1, penalties. Scunthorpe's going to drag it to penalties, but sadly, at the end of the night, Blackpool's going to win it in pens. In the Bournemouth taking Crawley now. Woo! Another team who is a dark horse in the National League, sitting in 4th place despite losing to Forest 2-1. That got themselves their first defeat since the opening day for Bournemouth in the league. And Crawley battered Bristol Rovers 4-0 in the weekend. So yeah, it's going to be a very tight game to watch, really, and it could be tight. And this could potentially be both teams could swap leagues next season, but it's gonna be a tight game to watch, really. It's gonna be really, really tight. I think a 2-2 draw and an extra time. It's gonna be really, really tight. It's gonna go on to penalties. It's going to be really, really tight. I'll come back to that in a minute. Then the Tranmere and Stockport now. Woo! Stockport County on top of League One. Battering Port Vale 3-0. 3-0 against Port Vale on Monday. Absolute scenes it was for Stockport and for Tranmere. Drawing 1-1 in 2 games in the last game week in the EFL. But it's going to be a very tight game to watch, really. Like, I remember one game, Tranmere battered Stockport 4-0. Who saw that coming? And yeah. It's really a tight game to watch, really. I think Tranmere, that's a distant memory now for Tranmere, and I really think Tranmere will pull off a good fight against Stockport, but Stockport will probably ace against Tranmere. A 3-1 win to Stockport for this one. In the Reddington and Carlisle now, Noel Hunt is sacked in the morning as they got themselves the former Wigan manager that's sending them to champions of League One in 2022. So, yeah, it's really a game to watch, really. Yeah, I remember this was a game set up like a couple of seasons ago, and Carlisle were a League One club. So, yeah. It's really a tight game to watch, really. But yeah, last time at Reading, it was a 5-1 win to Reading, and the other game, I predicted it to be a 3-0 Carlisle win at Brighton Park, but it ended up being like a 3-0, a 3-1 or 2-1 Reading win. But yeah, it's really a tight game to watch, really. But Carlisle are also in the title fight for the National League, sitting in 3rd place. But it's really a tight game to watch, really. But I think that Reading managed to bounce. 2-1 win to Reading for this one. And the Macclesfield take on Tottenham now. Ooh! Yeah, Macclesfield entered the FA Cup first round for the first time in club history since they're reborn. And for Tottenham, they are the only non-league club that is local to me. Can't you believe that? We have no Wiltshire locals in non-league in the FA Cup first round. We so close had Chippenham, but it was so close. So close. But yeah, it's very good game to watch, really. Can Tottenham pull it off against Macclesfield? They had to draw 1-1 at Toro twice in the 4th round qualifying to get here. And for Macclesfield, I don't know about Macclesfield in the 4th round qualifying, but here it is. But yeah, it's really good game to watch, really. I have a feeling it's going to be a 2-2 draw at the end of the 90 at Macclesfield. Then it's going to go to penalties. And Tottenham is going to send themselves to the 2nd round of the FA Cup. What a season Tottenham is having. They're 3rd place in the National League South, and Macclesfield are in the 9th place. So yeah. And then the Rotherham take on Swindon now. Woo! Rotherham with 3 wins in a row in the league, sitting in 15th place, and Swindon top of the table, but below on Walsall on goal difference. But how did they creep up to Walsall? How? They're both slipping. Both Swindon and Walsall are slipping. We'll get on to Walsall in a bit, but Swindon, that's kind of impressive. Creeping up to Walsall on goal difference, but you should be at least 6 points clear of Walsall. But they blew it away. But can they pull off this upset? If they don't, I think they'll be out in all competitions. It's just all upcoming league focus. But I really think this will be an upset here. I hope Swindon wins this one. I think they will. A 2-1 win to Swindon for this one, but Rotherham pulled off a good fight. In the Peterborough taking Cardiff now. Cardiff, 1st round FA Cup. That seems strange. That is really, really strange. When they played each other in the first match day, and Cardiff won 2-1 in that game. And Peterborough hired, don't know his name. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know they hired someone yet, but no, I don't know. But Dan Ferguson is sacked. Oh my days, that is kind of yeah. We'll get on to that. We'll talk about them like next week in league in the EFL. In the EFL predictions, yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a game to watch, really. I think that Cardiff will progress to the 2nd round of the FA Cup. 2-0 win to Cardiff for this one. And the Halifax take on Exeter now. Exeter, what a long journey heading up to the Yorkshire side of Halifax, as Halifax are 8th place in the league. And even though that Halifax had a slow start, what a run they've kind of had from September to now. And Halifax are Halifax. And Exeter are Exeter killing the 18th place spot. But it's a very, very tight game to watch, really. But I really think Exeter's last couple of games in the first round, they always have goals galore. And I think that's going to happen again here. I think Exeter will win here in a 4-3 win for Exeter. This week, goals galore in Halifax. Then the AFC Wimbledon on Gateshead now. AFC Wimbledon blew off the biggest bottle, losing 1-0 to Blooming Burton, and he missed a penalty. That is really embarrassing for AFC Wimbledon. And Gateshead, they were 2-0 down to Blooming Toro, who actually had to spend 914 miles on the coach from Cornwall to all the way up to Gateshead, and you still couldn't even touch them. But he didn't. Like Ishman didn't even go ahead against Toro. That's kind of embarrassing, really, for Gateshead. But yeah, and Gateshead had to do a long journey to London to face AS Wimbledon. But I do think that Gateshead will sadly cry all the way back to their home. I think that AS Wimbledon will probably ace through against Gateshead. I think a 3-1 win to AS Wimbledon for this one. And then the Bolton take on Huddersfield now. Whoo! They once faced each other just at least 2 weeks ago, as Bolton scored twice in cannon time, 1-1 and 2-1, all in the 93rd and 94th minute. Can't believe that, chat. But could history repeat itself again? Huddersfield are playing like dog water these days. They have lost 3 in a row. One of them favourites to win League One, and they're playing like dog water. And I think they're going to play like dog water again here against Bolton. Bolton still at ace against Huddersfield. A 2-1 win to Bolton. Huddersfield will score probably in the final minutes. In the Buxton take on Cheltenham now. Ooh, Buxton is one of the highest points towns in the country. One of the highest points above sea level. So no wonder why their home advantage is quite good, or quite decent, really. They're kind of decent. No wonder why they're 5th place on the National North. And for Cheltenham, I don't know about Cheltenham, but I think they're in the 7th tier. But it's a really good game to watch, really. It's a very tight one. But I think that Buxton's home advantage of sea level is going to pull it off. I think it's going to help them get to the second round here. A 2-1 win to Buxton for this one. And then the Cheltenham take on Bradford now. I've seen on BBC Sounds, yeah, that is actually been selected from BBC Radio Sports Extra 5, Sports Extra 3 on the BBC Radio, on the BBC Sounds. You can hear it from the BBC. Yeah, I'm just yapping. But Cheltenham are cooking big time with Steve Cottrell. I've been in 4, and let me tell you, they are 20th in the table, beating Walsall 1-0. And here's the feeling. Can they beat 2nd place Bradford in League One? They've drawn 4 in a row, but somehow they got up to 2nd. That is kind of insane, really, for Bradford. But yeah, but despite having one defeat in the league, yeah, I think that Cheltenham's going to pull off a massive upset here at Cheltenham. A 2-1 win to Cheltenham for this one. Big upsets on the cards. Then the Colters take on MK Dons now. MK Dons up to 4th. I think they dropped down a place because oh yeah, they lost 2-1. They lost 2-1 to Bromley. They lost 2-1 to Bromley on the weekend after being in the lead and getting behind it by Bromley. And for Colchester drawing 0-0 to Swindon in the boring game in the county ground. It was boring, but it's very tight at some points. But yeah, it's really very tight game to watch, really. But I think the MK Dons will only just narrowly beat Colchester here. I think a 1-0 win MK Dons, probably extra time, really. Then heading down to Stevenage, take on Chesterfield now. Whoo! Stevenage are one of the dark horses in League One, but down to 4th after drawing 1-1 to Bradford last Saturday. And Chesterfield up to 7th place in League 2. It's really very tight game to watch, really. It's really quite tight. Last time I met it was like a decade ago, and I think Stevenage battered. Well, the one time Stevenage battered Chesterfield 5-1. It was 2018 or 17, but it's really very tight game to watch, really. I think a 2-2 draw, and I think that Stevenage, I think they're going to only just pull it off on pens. It's going to be very tight. Then the Spennymoor take on Barrow now. Ooh, it wasn't that long ago that Spennymoor Town was in the FA Trophy final. I think it was that this season, really. I think that was last season. Spennymoor Town got to the FA Trophy final, and Barrow are up to 15th after drawing 2-2 to Barnet, and they're one of the form teams in the league, or one of the form teams in the league, in League 2, and Spennymoor are up to 6th in the National League North, and yeah, it's going to be a very tight game to watch, really. It's really quite tight. I think Spennymoor will pull off a very good fight against Barrow, but I think it's going to be too much for Spennymoor. I think that Barrow will probably beat Spennymoor. I think a 3-1 win to Barrow for this one, but Spennymoor will pull off a good fight for this one. And then to the 5:30 kickoff now at on the BBC Two, Brackley versus Notts County now. Woo! It's the first time ever that they're both meeting each other in competitive history in football. And Brackley are chilling in 17th place in the National League. It's in their first ever season in the National League in the 5th tier. And Notts County are up to 5th. Now on form at the moment, Notts County. So this could be a tight game to watch, really. But it's a very tight game. I think Notts County will bring a handful of fans to the away end for this at Brackley for this game. It's very tight. I think it's going to be 1-1 draw at the end of 90, but Notts County will win it at extra time 2-1. Then to the Sunday's games now. Woo! South Shields take on Shrewsbury now. Woo! South Shields are running away with it as dark horses. They are first place in the National League North. And Shrewsbury are down to 22nd, but they're 4 unbeaten in the league. But they could have won 2. But they could have gotten 3 wins in a row for the first time in 2 years in the league. I can't believe it. And Shrewsbury are down to 22nd, but it's going to be a very tight relegation battle in League 2. And this game could be a National League match next season. But who blooming knows about this one, really? It's going to be a very tight game to watch, really. I'm having a feeling there's going to be a big upset on the cards here. South Shields are going to continue on their impressive start, putting off a big upset against Shrewsbury. A 2-0 win to South Shields is going to happen on the cards. And the East Seating on Walsall now on the 2:15 kickoff now. Live on BBC Two. Ooh! It's going to be a game to watch really easily. Are banging in the middle in the National League, and Walsall are top of the table. How are they still top of the table with Swindon? It's kind of amazed that I think they are one of the luckiest teams out there because they're still top of the table, but they could have been like 5 or 6 points clear, 6 points behind Swindon. But Swindon also slipped as well, and they're on level on each other. Both Walsall and Swindon are level on top of the table in League 2. But it's going to be a very tight game to watch, really. I think Walsall will show how it's done against Eastleigh here. I think a 2-0 win to Walsall for this one. And then to Port Vale taking on Maldon now. Maldon is one of the lowest ranked sides in the FA Cup so far in this first round. And they're going to Port Vale, and it's going to be packed in the away end. I bet it'll be blooming packed. And it's going to be quite an exciting game for Maldon, as it's going to be their biggest away game in their club's history. But here's the thing. Can they pull off the upset of the century or the year? But we've seen bigger upsets than this. We've seen blooming Maidstone. That is unbelievable. Yeah, we don't talk about them, no. We don't talk about them. Yeah, it's just one of them I almost cried. But yeah, back to the Port Vale game. Port Vale got battered 3-0 by Stockport. Unbelievable scenes it was at Port Vale, and it's going to be very tight. I think another 0-0 draw. It's going to go to penalties. Watch this. Maldon is going to win on penalties, and Darren Moore will be cooked at Port Vale. And then the Gainsborough taking on Accrington now in the 5:15 kickoff on Sunday, tea time. Whoo, I remember this. Gainsborough, last time they were in the FA Cup first round, it was last season. I think one game, they were 3-0 down or 3-0 up. Turned into 3-3, then extra time came and it came up to 4-3, then 4-4, then penalties that turned out to be absolutely hectic. Games were won on pens, and it was one of the games of the first round ever in the 24-25 season, and yep, what a game that was, really. Can't even believe that. That was only a year ago. That felt like last week or a month ago, but no, that was 12 months ago. But yeah, it's a very tight game to watch, really. Accrington have been quite but they're up to 20th, and Gainsborough, I don't know about Gainsborough, but yeah, I think Gainsborough, could they go on another FA Cup run? It's very tight, it's going to be a tight game to watch, really. I think there's 3 goals here again, but it's going to be a 2-2 draw at the end of 90, and I think Accrington will win it. I think a 3-2 win Accrington at extra time. It's been raining out there. We're into the Monday night game now, the final one. Tamworth take on Leyton Orient now. Ooh. Last season, Tamworth went on an incredible FA Cup run, beating Huddersfield 1-0 and beating Burton on pens, heading to the whole Tottenham 0-0, and they lost 3-0 to Tottenham. And what a run they had last season in the FA Cup. But yeah, is this the same Tamworth? Tamworth are ninth place in the league. Could they be getting into League 2? Who blooming knows? Who blooming knows? And Leyton Orient not. Yeah, this isn't the same Leyton Orient as last season. They got to the playoff final last season in League 1, and it's going to be a very tight game to watch, really. But I think Tamworth will pull off a good fight, but Leyton Orient will probably ace through against Tamworth, but Tamworth will pull off a good fight. I think a 4-2 win to Leyton Orient, Tamworth will pull off a good fight, but it's not going to be last season because it's going to be very tight, I should say. Well, yeah, if you're wondering, here's the rest of my FA Cup predictions games right here. And if it's my predictions, and you can comment down below on what your predictions are going to be. And if I'm thank you for watching this video, I've enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and share. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye! And happy Halloween to all of you.